Right, hey, welcome everybody. This is a little bit of an undercover after show, because after all, we were talking for the last 3 days, and this man, by the way, did an amazing job. I feel like he's commentating like a South American soccer match. I'm still looking, what's the number? And he already knows the half of the people. Amazing job, really much fun. But now let's go down a little bit to the hot and what's not. What was for you the best, the standing out?
Oh, there's a few good headlines coming out of this 4-day event. First thing that comes to mind is the Russian ladies. Really impressive in the open women. 2 new faces, making 2 big finals in the sprints in the technical race, and a bronze medal for Elena Prokhorova in the long distance. So that's definitely some big achievements. We were talking about Andre Crater a lot, and actually he did not
perform the way we expected.
Exactly. So the big surprise came from those ladies. Second thing is definitely the Spanish junior Armada, what we called it, the Tormenta.
Tormenta Español.
Stealing most of the posts in the junior podium, men and women. And third thing that already comes to mind is obviously Noe Gayu, 19-year-old. He was one of the guys we didn't know in which form he was before the event, and he made in his very first heat in the sprints, or on day 1 anyway. He made a big mistake, falling 10 meters away from the finish line, and he didn't look absolutely amazing until the very finals of the sprints and technical races that he won in an amazing fashion. Let's not forget that he was second in the long distance. So this guy scored on all podiums with 2 gold medals. So I'm sure there's more, but
What about the event? Like, thinking about, for us being here, working at this event, I mean, for me personally, I've never been to an event that was this well organized, that is in this timely fashion, and everything is very structured. You have a media area, you have a VIP area, you have a staging area. Everything is on time. I can't remember, for me.
Yeah, and I think that's the Canoe Federation touch, because I've never seen that. So is it a difference of culture between the surf culture and the canoe culture? I would tend to say yes right now, because I mean, it's part of the fun as well to never quite watch your clock all the time. But knowing where to go, what to do, that's
no guessing.
A lot of no guessing.
No guessing. Is it on? Are we going? Are we there?
Exactly.
And
we
asking
had,
around.
Check this out. We had the full program, minute after minute. I don't know if you can see it, but it says 9:08, 9:16, 9:24, and the sprint hits even shorter. 2:30, 2:34, 2:38. So every 4 minutes you've got something going on, and there's no mistake.
It's amazing.
The schedules are spot on. There's no miss until the very end. I checked my clock at the very end, and it was starting at 2:51, and that's exactly when it started.
Very structured, and that is something that you and we mostly go to paddle races. It's surfing style, with a line in the sand, and everybody kind of somewhat line up, and the buoy turn is whatever. Here it's very well structured. Is there anything that from the surfing culture that you feel like maybe they can adapt maybe a little bit?
I'm really conscious that I don't want to lose some of the surf culture. I mean surf culture. I'm not a surfer, so maybe surf culture is maybe not what I would call it. I'd rather call it the aloha culture.
Yes.
You know, the shaka, the board shorts, the hats, the flip-flops, the beach culture. I don't want that to disappear, and I know that we want to do everything in a strict manner with the dress code and so on, but when I see those Spanish guys coming with a full canoe-like equipment, clothing, I think we're losing a little bit of the aloha feel there.
I think the dress code on the podium kind of gotta go.
And not so much on the podium, I mean on the podium of course, but also on the water. and yes, where are the shakas and all of that? I spoke to Andre, who's very much from that canoe culture. The first thing he said to me, I love stand-up paddling because everyone is open, everyone is smiling, everyone is hugging each other, everyone's doing a hang loose sign. And that's what we want to keep, and that's what makes our sport sexy. So although we're heading for a super structured organization with the ICF, which is amazing,
but you don't have to lose one thing for the other.
Exactly.
And you know, for me, for us, I'm not aware that there's people that are completely strangers to this kind of culture, because I've been in it for pretty much my entire life. And I think absolutely also, and that is also a reason why the ICF is kind of starting to embrace this thing, because this lane racing thing is it's a little stiff. And for me, the canoe culture is probably as foreign as for Andre Krator, the Aloha culture was foreign.
And for Elena Prokhorova, and for Natalia Navitskaya.
Awesome people. So I'm really looking forward that hopefully these two worlds merge, and the politics of the suits behind the scenes are recognizing this. And then one something that I have to get it off my chest, guys, and I really confused that shit out of me, is like, how do you have 8 quarterfinals and 4 semifinals? I am sorry. It's show me one sport where you have a semifinal. It's a mathematical thing. Semi, half, 2 halves of a whole thing. So there is not 4 semis.
Yeah, that brought some confusion, especially since in the open men's technical.
Yeah, it threw us a full curveball. Like, this guy. Like, wait, what? 4 semis? Yeah. So that is something I'd really like to have a conversation with somebody explaining that to me. I had a brief conversation about it a little bit, so frankly that is something that they're doing in the canoe. But then again, which brings you to potentially 3 finals, and then again, if you have final A and a person in final B actually is doing a better time than the guy in final A, I am sorry, that does not sit with me. That does not make sense.
I'm not so sure. I think that these are 2 or 3 different races, and the points add up towards a team goal. I don't see that as something wrong personally.
Okay.
But I think you're right about the quarterfinals. The 4 quarterfinals, 4 semifinals is not is a bit odd, and that threw us off a little bit. But it's a small detail. I mean, the whole thing was a big
how small of a detail that is, because I'm thinking it leaves the door open to a potential situation where you have a world record time that in final A nobody's reaching, and just so freaky as it is, it could be that a guy in a final B breaks that time. I mean, it's very unlikely, but with this, it is not 100% impossible. And if a situation like this would arise, if I was this person, I'd be pissed.
But,
for not being on the podium.
I mean, in some Olympic sports, you always have a small final. So I guess Team 3 could score many more points than Team 1 against Team 4, and that doesn't mean that Team 3 is a bigger champion than Team 1. So I don't know. This is
or maybe I'm just being stubborn, and this is something maybe we have to learn, but a very counterintuitive from mine. But it's not taking away, of course, from the great event and from how awesome it was here.
You bring up what's new, and there are 2 things that are very interesting in the way the races are organized. First one is lanes for the technical race. We've hardly had we had that a few times, but usually they start on the same line.
Speed start kind of running.
Yes, absolutely. And but this time they were using, and actually that confused me a little, because I had a feeling they were going for a 200-meter sprint a couple of times, getting tired speaking for so long. But so that's one. I quite like that, just because it's new. And the second thing is really a tiny detail, but just the fact that the buoys were numbered. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. You know, we had so many complaints and so many races lost. I remember Annabelle Anderson actually losing the PPG race because she went for the wrong buoy.
Yeah, I remember that. I think it was in Salt Creek.
So
and people are like, which buoy are you talking? They're like, the one over there. There's 2 over there. So this way, you know what buoys you're talking about for sure. Yeah.
And what I like also is the fact that the sprint racing and the technical racing was very, very near that little promenade that we're on, sitting on right now. Yeah. And that were made for a great show for those many Hungarian spectators that that come
Yeah.
to this place for on a Sunday and
Yeah.
a Sunday afternoon.
Yeah,
Saturday and Sunday afternoon.
one last thing for me was really also how I do not realize how we were blind, or at least I was blind to what's going on with SUP in Eastern Europe and Russia. And I had no idea how these people are looking to us.
Yes.
And like how we get approached by Ukrainians, Hungarians. They look very much
Yeah,
and
they know who we are,
they
even,
idolize the
yes,
paddlers over there. It's like, yes, and like I had just this interview with Eleanor. It's like, we know all you guys, and we're like, nobody knows us.
Yeah,
and I'm like,
yeah.
I'm looking at her Instagram. She's got 15,000 followers. Like, how did we miss this? So this is a great open door moment here for like
sure.
these two cultures kind of to meet.
Absolutely. Yeah. No, for sure.
Very cool. Very cool.
All right.
Well,
Well,
with
thank
this
you,
being
Mike.
said, thank you so much, Mathieu.
You.
We had such a great time. Thanks again, and I hope we get to do this again. And with this being said, it's now time to close up this booth. Aloha.
Bye, guys.
Bye, guys.